So far we have studied something about the force, that is the definition of force and how many types of forces are there, contact force, non-contact force, etc, etc. Here we are going to look at few additional point reference to the force. Here the very first point what you can look at is force is a vector quantity, meaning that a physical quantity which has both the magnitude and direction is called as a vector. As an example, when a force of 10 Newton is applied here, then along the direction of the force the body is moving, meaning that this force is creating a motion in the body. That means force is acting in a particular direction. That's the reason it has a direction as well as it has a magnitude. Here force is acting downward, but still it is not moving. In the sense, there is another force acting from downward which is not sufficient to move the body into downward direction. That means there exists an upward force more than this 10 Newton. That is the reason it is still remaining at rest. Here in this case, the action of the force is towards right, motion is also towards right. Here the action of force is downwards, so body has to move in downward direction. If there is no resistance, there is nothing acting opposite to it. But since this surface is exerting opposite force which is more than 10 Newton, it is not moving. So here what I mean to say, when the force is acting, that force will be acting in a particular direction. If any physical quantity has direction as well as the magnitude, then you call it as a vector quantity. Remember that force is a vector. It will have the magnitude and also it has the direction. And the second point comes out to be, if at all there are a number of forces are acting on a body. For example, when you are pushing a car, one person pushes the car, it is not moving, then another person will also add up. Likewise, 2 or 3 people are pushing, in the sense the car will be set in motion, which means the force exerted by first person, force exerted by second person, third person will get added up, giving rise to the net force acting. That means this body is acted upon by 2 different forces. Since these 2 are acting in the same direction, total force acting on the body is 10 Newtons. Similarly, when forces are acting in opposite direction, that means someone is pushing and someone is pulling. In that case, what happens? Here, this fellow is pushing with 2 Newton. This fellow is pushing on the other side, which means he is pulling in this side. So, 10 Newton is acting towards my right and 2 Newton is acting towards my left. Since force is a vector, it should obey the directional property. So, if I consider this as my reference, if the body is moving in this direction, then 10 Newton is more than 2 Newton. Therefore, ultimately the net force acting on the body will be 8 Newtons. That means 8 Newtons of force is acting on the body. Here practically 2 Newtons is acting, 10 Newtons is acting in right side, 2 Newtons is acting in left side. But since they are acting oppositely, we are taking 8 Newtons as the net force. We are subtracting that. So when they are acting in opposite direction, you need to subtract. When they are acting in the same direction, you need to add up. And here you need to remember one point. Here 10 is the magnitude, that much amount of force, and Newton is the unit. Here 10 Newton, which represents both magnitude and unit, just like 10 kgs of rice. 10 kgs of rice means 10 is the number, quantity, and kgs are the units. Just like that, here force is represented in Newtons. Coming to the next point, if at all you are applying some force, here this force 5 Newtons is applied here. Let us say this body has a mass. Mass means the actual matter contained in it. 5 kgs of rice, in the sense the quantity of 5 kg, it represents the quantity. 10 kg means you will get a more quantity. So quantity is represented by M, mass. And when you are applying the force on it, it is set in motion. Just like when you are driving the bike, you are using an accelerator. Accelerator means you are applying the force on a body so that it is taking a pickup, meaning that it is accelerated. That means this is one relation you need to remember to solve the problems. Here, force is equal to mass into acceleration. If any two parameters are given, third parameter can be calculated. So this is the formula which you need to remember for solving the problems. So here, F is equal to ma is an important equation to calculate the forces. Coming to the next point, gravitational force. Here in our universe is made up of so many planets. You have satellites and you have some other heavenly bodies. So every body in the universe attracts every other body. That means all these bodies, heavenly bodies, are bounded by means of some forces which are called as the gravitational forces. So a gravitational force is nothing but the force acting between the two bodies in the universe, and this gravitational force is always attractive. That means moon revolving around the earth means because of some gravitational attraction it is revolving around the earth. Moon revolving around the earth, similarly earth revolving around the sun. This is because of the gravitational influence, the force between moon and earth, the force between earth and sun. All these things are gravitational forces. So examples of gravitational forces you can take between any heavenly body. Just like when you are keeping a body on the surface of the earth. Suppose if I'm standing on the ground. So this is also because of gravitational force, because earth's surface of the ground is pulling me towards it. That is the reason I am able to stand, meaning that there is a force acting between the ground and me. That is a gravitational force. If you are keeping some body on a table, because of the gravitational force only it is remaining on the table. So when a body is placed on the surface of earth, it is attracted towards the earth due to gravitational force. So earth has got, not only earth, all other planets will also have the gravitational influences. In case of the earth, it is attracting the body of mass m by a force. F is equal to ma. Here a is nothing but acceleration due to gravity. Because of the earth pull, it is attracted. So that F is equal to m into a. In place of a we are writing g, meaning that whatever the body placed on the surface of the earth has got some weight, we say. That weight is nothing but m into g. This is called as the weight. Likewise, forces play vital role in our day-to-day life, and we need to calculate these force values in order to look into the motion of different bodies.